So I am working on a spread for my friend's daughter's birthday. I did create this little backdrop for the pictures that I created with alcohol ink from Tim Holtz. So I'm right now adhering this to the cardstock that I chose, which is a pink cardstock that I've already measured to the album size that I used. Now I did create these two photo strips on Photoshop with different images from the event. Now I was gonna go ahead and just layer them on top of the ink drops that I created, and I was gonna go ahead and put some ephemera on top of it. I'm going ahead and trying to see the different ideas that I could come up with and looking for different design ideas. But at the end, ultimately, I decided to go a different route. Some of the ephemera that I was looking at, and I'm not sure if I'm saying this correctly, so I'm sorry if I'm saying the die cut word incorrectly, but I eventually ended up going with getting some vellum and actually cutting it at 1-inch strips, and actually 1-inch strips wide and 5.5 in length, so that way I could actually adhere it to the sides of the photo strips. And you're going to see here that I'm actually cutting it here at 5.5, and I'm going to go ahead and do that portion to then attach it to the sides, so that way the photo strips can be put in an angle where they can open up on the sides of the alcohol ink photo mat. So here I'm actually going ahead and folding the vellum strips in half, so that way they can go ahead and open up kind of like a card. So I'm going to go ahead and do this to both of the strips that I cut, so that way I could adhere it to each of the photo strips. Now I'm actually going to go ahead and add adhesive to one of the sides of the vellum tape, so that way I could be able to attach it to the photo strip. So at first the adhesive was giving me a hard time. I guess it's running low, so that's what I was struggling with. But I'm going to go ahead and center it on the photo strip, as you can see on the back side, so that way I could then put adhesive on the other side and then attach that to one end. Make sure to hold, if you ever try to do this, make sure to hold the vellum. Since it is vellum, it's kind of very thin, so it can easily break. So now I'm going to go ahead and just center it on the strip and then just attach it, and it should just hold on very easily. And just press down a little bit, so that way you can secure it. Now here I did make an error. I'm going to end up attaching this on the wrong end, so just make sure you don't make the same mistake. I was watching TV, so I wasn't paying attention to what side I was attaching the vellum tape to. Luckily it was vellum tape, so I was easily able to go ahead and peel it off and just rub off the adhesive, and then just go ahead and put a little bit more adhesive, so that way it would stick again. Now it was time for me to work on the inside of my page, so I decided to go ahead, and I was gonna originally put this with the foam tape, but I felt like it was gonna make it bulky and it wasn't gonna close right, so I decided to just stick the ephemera with just regular adhesive. I feel that would have been the best choice, because if you notice, it doesn't close and stay closed. I know inside the album it will end up staying closed because of the pressure of the album, but I felt that if I put the foam tape, it just would have popped up up a lot more. So I'm glad I went with that design. Then I decided to use this card from Ali Edwards that's from the listening story kit. So what I did was I rounded off both corners and the card kind of flew off on me both times. But I did round off the two corners on the top, and then I decided to go ahead and adhere that to the bottom. So that way it kind of has an even bottom, and then the two corners on the top are kind of rounded off, and then that way you have all the colors all around. So I think it made it pop. And the card itself says listening, which I love that because the whole party was about listening to all the sounds of everything that was occurring around me. There was a lot of sounds going on. When you have 4 kids and it's a birthday party, you can definitely guarantee that there's a lot of listening to do. Next, I took my Studio Calico Bit Mega Stamp to go ahead and stamp the date. So this was on February 6th of this year. So I went ahead and I inked it up with my VersaFine ink pad, which are by far my favorite stamps. Although now I'm kind of liking the Catherine Puller stamp ink pads, but I kind of a little particular to the VersaFines. So I went ahead and I inked it and I stamped it in the bottom just to go ahead and keep that date in my mind. So I went ahead and I added a little star instead of a 0 just to give it a little bit of pop since it is a kid's birthday. And then now to do some journaling in the card in order to just keep in mind everything that happened and everything I listened to at that birthday party.